Good morning, Discover Crypto. Guys, today we have to dive into the government once again hating on crypto, pushing Binance and CZ out of the United States. We have Elizabeth Warren's anti-freedom kind of bill being structured into this, which we're going to break down on how they just want to eliminate crypto for all of us. It was never about you. It was never about the retailer. It was always about the government getting their money, getting their control, getting their regulation, and pushing us out. And today, that's how we're going to decide. Well, what is it? It's going to be time to discover crypto. Whoa, here we go, chat.
Capital flight is coming to the United States. The dollar is going to zero.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so special.
You have to have gone through a couple cycles to understand.
Once the price is able to clear this level, the breakout is on its way.
This is your indication to jump in now.
Yeah, I had one job, guys, and today I wanted to decipher crypto, not discover it. But, you know, hey, I think it was a strong lead-in.
You know what? We're discovering your vocabulary, so that's all right, everybody. Guys, make sure you go and hit that like button, or we're going to talk about Binance, like you said. We're going to talk about just how corrupt the Department of Justice is. But before we do that, you guys want to look at the markets, or should we just get right into it, Josh? I'll let you be the orchestrator here.
Let's get right into the markets first, because I think that's a strong lead in here, and then it's going to, this is why the markets are performing the way they are. So, Bitcoin right now is sitting at 36,000, guys.
Oh, we got a little bit of a fresh dump, everybody. You can see, look at that right there. Bitcoin, just a fresh downturn here. If we go on the 20, whoa, look at that chart right there. I don't know if we're, just click on Bitcoin. All right, yeah, that is a fresh little drawdown we're seeing right now. We see the drawdown in the markets. You can see Bitcoin now down 2.5%, Ethereum down 4%. We need to see some bleeding a little bit more, and like Solana. Solana is down almost 10% right now, and Chainlink down 8.6%. Chainlink red for the week. I haven't seen Chainlink red for the week. I don't know if Drew in here, but hey, maybe if you're waiting on the sidelines for some Chainlink, seen a lot of people put some charts down. This 13 and change might kind of go back up to 15 or 18 there. So might be your chance to get some Chainlink there. Polygon down almost over 11%, over 10% here. So we're seeing a lot of massive losers right there. There's a David O. Russell extra, everybody. Hey, thank you.
Guys, thank you.
Yeah, he played Christian Bale's
that's actually
partner.
Batman. Oh, that's Batman.
I did some stand-in work for the guy from from Upload, Amazon's series there. Actually, no, I was a strip club bartender stand-in. That's another story for another day. All right, if we look at some big winners in crypto, folks, it's not all dead. It's not all just a ghost town. We have Radix. Radix is up 10%. Maker is up 3.4%. But then after that, it is a ghost town. There's actually nothing in the green. So it's not quite a ghost town. There's two people battling it out at high noon. Looks like Radix is winning thus far. But, on the week, there's still some big winners. Render up 44%. Caspa, even though it's down 13% right now, Caspa's up 37%. So it's not all red candles.
Look, guys, we've been up only for the last 4 months. It was time for a healthy retracement. On yesterday's show, we were covering the liquidations on the markets, on saying, hey, this might drop back down to that $34,000 range, which we'll get into the charts here in just a second. But the takeaway from here today is, even though we are seeing a bit of a pullback here, the news in the markets today, DZ, is just like, usually in 2021, if we saw the same FUD coming out from Binance, the takedowns on Kraken, we had an exchange actually closed down because the SEC did get their way. And honestly, hey, I'm happy to see the markets performing at least in the neutral aspect.
Look at BNB coin. You can see the recent downturn is basically peeled off a lot of the gains here, but still slightly higher than what it was when the news broke yesterday. And what is the news we're referring to? Nice segue here. Binance faces $4 billion penalty for criminal violations. The world's largest exchange has been investigated for money laundering, bank fraud, and sanctions law violations. I should add, since 2018. They've been in. So I'm doing some research right now on a Binance video. I'm going to shoot a Binance video, just kind of detailing the history of the past. So it started 2017. They launched it, and they tried to submit the application with FinCEN, the financial centralized entity, making sure there's no money laundering issues. They never gave them the application. They never returned the paperwork. There was always, oh, you don't comply. Well, now they got a $4 billion fine, and this has settled the multiple criminal investigations. However, CZ could still face criminal charges even following the settlement. Negotiations between Binance and DOJ are ongoing, according to this report from Bloomberg, and could be concluded by the end of the month. CZ, who is in the UAE, which does not have extradition treaty with the U.S., may still end up voluntarily accepting personal charges following the investigation. How do you think this is going to play out in the end?
There's a lot of ways this can play out, but what this goes to show and prove is the United States is just a bunch of bullies. These three-letter agencies that aren't representing us, guys. Remember, these are elected people by the executive branch, not by the people. We are seeing them progressively push out these large exchanges. And I'm not going to be defending CZ. I'm playing the kind of neutral position here because while the United States isn't protecting investors, there was a lot of interesting things that came out of this. And I don't know if you actually covered it just yet, but Binance in these negotiations, guys, with the DOJ, these are ongoing. It's not as simple as a $4 billion slap on the wrist and just going to let them go, allow them to money launder, allow them to manipulate markets and continue on. This is going to be a way for the DOJ to try to step in and take that regulatory or that regulation by enforcement. And how we're seeing that is right now, their legal residence for CZ, he's obviously in the UAE, so we can't extradite him at all. There's no extradition there. So he would have to, like you said, voluntarily come out. But the takeaways is that if they were to pay this penalty off, both sides and Binance, the DOJ would go on their way and Binance would continue operating. So, for all the questions that we have with the market manipulation, with them having so much volume, so much control, none of that is going to be justified. We're never going to get the truth behind the proof of the reserve. So I don't know where my head's at with this, DZ. It's kind of like unsettled that we have nobody standing up for us in this industry at this moment.
Yeah, and they say, hey, he does have deep pockets, but bear market, I will say this about CZ and his net worth. Every time you see some crazy figures like top of the bull market, he has $74 billion. Bottom, I think right now they say he has around $9 or $10.4 billion. Every time you see these articles come out, CZ would then come out publicly. Not every time, but often he would say, guys, this figure is just total farce. I'm nowhere near this rich. But if you were that rich with secret crypto, isn't that exactly what you would say? So I don't, it's tough to tell, what the secret wallets have. But here, we have more stuff about the SEC and Binance before we roll into Kraken. The SEC filed a clandestine motion against Binance just a couple months ago, suggesting that criminal charges could be next. And the U.S. arm has been suffering notable departures and shakeups for some time. I just looked up a couple of the key figures. They lost their head of legal and chief risk officer, also lost their CEO. And not only that, they'd cut, I think, about a third of the staff, or maybe it was 2/3. Maybe someone fact check me. They cut a third or 2/3 of the staff. So a lot of departures from Binance and Binance US there.
It's been a rough few years for Binance at this point. There's been a lot of questions that have come up out of this. And one of the quotes that this came out, I believe, from, it doesn't say who quoted this, but the remarks are, the allegations against Binance that this settlement relate to are largely black and white, as they concern settled areas of law like money laundering, bank fraud, and sanction law violations, as opposed to general crypto regulations such as the definition of digital assets. This is from Richard Miko, at the U.S. CEO and global head of legal risk and compliance at Banksa. What is clear from the investigations, and this is the most important part, is that the consequences of not implementing and monitoring a proper fit-for-purpose compliance program can be considerable, if not essential. So, existential. My goodness. Ultimately, I suspect Binance will not agree to any settlements that stops this ability to operate in the United States. So, is CZ going to accept this? I don't see in any world or shape or form that he comes out to the United States and goes, I'm going to leave the UAE.
Oh, he never will.
I'm going to come out and be like, I'm going to pay this off.
Yeah, not going to happen. And, there are fluctuations. I kind of alluded to this. There's fluctuations in net worth with CZ and all crypto executives and crypto holders and the channel watchers right now. Hit that like button if you've seen your net worth. Maybe it's down a little bit from November 21. But we're seeing, he has billions. $4 billion, can he pay it today? Probably, if I had to guess, but man, would that hurt? That would hurt a whole lot. Will $4 billion hurt that much 12 months from now? 18 months from now?
Yeah.
It won't hurt nearly as much, and there would be a lot more exit liquidity. Maybe he has to sell BNB, maybe he has a giant stash of Tether, maybe he has a giant stash of Ether, maybe he has a giant stash of Bitcoin. During a bull run, that sell volume won't hurt the price as much. If you got to sell $1 billion worth of Ether, it's going to impact the markets a little bit. He could easily scrounge up $4 billion during the bull run. He can find that in his couch, okay? That won't be a problem. Right now, though, it could be a little bit of an issue.
So bottom line, I think the takeaway here is that this is over for Binance in terms of the United States. The United States was always going to come in and push them out. We saw it with Paxos, which was the ones issuing the BUSD stablecoin over a year ago, where they just said, hey, we're getting investigated into. We don't want any part of this. We're going to push you guys out. We're not going to do this anymore. It's just to 1 year later announce their PayPal stablecoin. So we've seen the United States and regulators taking this approach by enforcement, mind you, and pushing these outsiders and foreign entities outside the US because they want that control. And so it's kind of a very clear bully movement. They're like, hey, if you don't actually abide by our laws, we're going to just wreck you.
Yeah.
And we're going to blame the entire collapse of this crypto sector on you. But if you give us our money, it seems like a shakedown.
Yeah, we're going to wreck you, just like Mike talking about a truck. Anyways, well, the SEC coming back for seconds, folks. They're not just done with Binance. $4 billion? Haha. Hold my beer. It's not beer in there. I wish I was that cool. But no, they're also coming after Kraken here. SEC back for seconds and Kraken crackdown. I like that. All right. Check out this Photoshop picture right there. I think that's pretty cool. Here we have, is that Kobe? No, that's not Kobe. That's Kurt Cobain. No, it's not Kurt Cobain. That is Jesse Powell, the CEO and founder of Kraken. Here is Gary Gensler with they actually shrunk his head a little bit. His head's actually bigger than that, bigger than it appears. It's like the rear view mirror. All right, if we look here, SEC has been waging a fierce war against crypto, taking an aggressive stance on the regulatory oversight of digital assets. However, the tide appears to be turning recently with high-profile court losses. This is a good takeaway, folks. The tide appeared to be turning recently with some high-profile losses of the SEC against one against Grayscale, then another against Ripple, then a flood of recent ETF applications. They see the tide changing. The sea is coming out to them. SEC is looking around like, oh my God, we're losing this battle. What's a good way to change the conversation? If you don't like what people are saying, you change the topic of conversation. So instead of people talking about us losing, let's throw out some fresh allegations. Let's throw out a fresh lawsuit, and let's throw out a crazy number like $4 billion, and then everyone will look at us as the saviors here. So the SEC back again. The latest enforcement action is the second time the SEC has gone after Kraken this year. In February, they settled over charges related to staking services, and they agreed to pay a $30 million penalty. I think, me and Josh were talking about this. They probably gave him the $30 million fine. Yep. Kraken paid it, and then they looked at each other like,
we want more.
They paid that too easily. Wait a minute. He didn't even cringe. He just opened up his wallet. Was like, here you go, sir. I wanted to see him go like, when he gave me the money, and he was just like, they looked at each other and said, you know what? Let's shake them down for more.
Yeah, it's like, chat. Can any of you tell us in the chat where this money actually goes? So if they get this $4 billion or this $30 million, who's going to do the audit? Where is this money being spent? Who's it actually going to? Do they miraculously get raises? Is there a nice bonus check for these government regulators? Because I know one thing, that every time this money is taken from our government, us, citizens never necessarily see it or see the light of day with it. So, yeah, no, this is just clear.
Did you bring up
clear.
audit? You didn't bring up an audit, did you? Wait a minute, that just reminded me. Wait a minute, there's some breaking in the news kind of recently. Pentagon failed, just a random coincidence here. Pentagon fails audit for a 6th year in a row. This is just this week, folks. That was just this week. Well,
but it's progress. It's getting closer to finishing it.
Yeah, hey, lucky number 7, right?
Like GTA 6, it's going to take 10 years,
Well, here are the tokens. I don't know if you guys recall this a few months ago. The allegations that they supported these tokens deemed securities. Cardano was on there, Axie Infinity, Algorand, Atom, Chili's, Cody, Dash, Filecoin, Flow, ICP, Mana, aka Decentraland, Matic, aka Polygon, Near, aka you're near dear to my heart if you hit the like button, OMG, Sand, and Solana. However, none of these have been classified as security by a court, weakening the agency's case. It's just what they're saying in their allegations there. So we keep going. All right, well, I think we have some tweets kind of summing this up as well. Yep. This is the SEC's complaint. We're not going to read the whole thing, just the first sentence. SEC filed a complaint alleging Kraken operates as an unregistered securities exchange, broker, and clearinghouse. Well, what did Kraken say? We disagree with the SEC. They won't let me be. And the law is on our side, can't you see? SEC already tried this theory, and the court rejected it outright. And then we got a couple more. Jesse Powell, he's out here, messaging.
Defending.
Message is clear.
Yeah.
$30 million buys you about 10 months before the SEC comes around to extort you again. Lawyers can do a lot with 30 million, but the SECs know that a real fight will likely cost 100 million plus in valuable time. If you can't afford it, get your crypto company out of the U.S. war zone. What do you think about? Yeah, so bottom 10 months there. That seems almost fair during a bull run, but bear market, how much money are they really making?
Yeah. Look, the SEC, like he said, are modern day thugs and gangsters. That's coming from Colin Talks Crypto right below the tweet. That is all this is. It's all it's ever going to be. We have multiple different agencies that want that regulatory control, and they're all so greedy. They're watching, like you said, they're slapping people on the wrist with like 30 million. They're like, oh, we got them this time. And they're just opening up their wallets, paying this off like so easily. The SEC wants that control. Gary Gensler, guys, this is somebody that has gone against his word and lied to people at MIT when he was teaching students about the foundation and funding of Ethereum. So to take this guy's word and say, hey, you know what, the SEC is actually doing this for the people when they're completely partnered with MIT, working at MIT, partnered with Prometheum, doing all the early stuff with the CCP, which we'll get into in an ETHgate video that we're dropping on this channel. It's like, this is clear signs of just modern day thugs and gangsters at a regulatory level. And that's what the SEC is.
Peter McCormick had a good take. So the SEC is really just a racketeering outfit that's doing Senator Warren's anti-freedom dirty work. Great assessment there, Peter McCormick. All right. Well, I think we have some charts today, right? What are we going to, unless anything else you want to throw in? Just how
it's just, this is the time, chat. Guys, crypto is inevitable. We have Bitcoin spot ETFs. Markets are insanely bullish. And the takeaway from all this is if we look at CoinGecko again, markets are barely even seeing a massive retracement on this. The last time we had allegations come out like this in 2021, we would see like 20, 30, 40% dips instantly right on that news release, if not before because of the inside traders. So seeing the market be like, you know what, there is a lot of merit here. We believe in its future. This is clear signs for now institutions that were late to the game and these three-letter agencies being like, they're trying to grasp for air. They're trying to grasp for that control because it's getting away from them. It's going to the private sector. And so, with these influencers, when I see these tweets out, the goal for this next cycle here, guys, is influencers need a change in this crypto game. We have to start standing up. We have to start advocating for ourselves. We have to use you guys, the community, with us and help build and actually go and lobby and actually make changes on a regulatory front and represent ourselves. I believe we need a new entirely community. Go for it.
Breaking news. Thank you, chat, who threw it out. We got the smartest chat in all the land. Breaking: Department of Justice to announce Binance settlement in a press conference today at 3 p.m. I'm hearing 3 p.m. We'll see if it is
chat
actually
was saying that.
So that's what they're saying there. So all right, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This looks pretty official. So Merrick Garland, very polarizing figure. That guy, that Merrick Garland. I'll have to talk to Drew, see what he says. So all right, so we'll see. 3 p.m. Why is Bitcoin pumping like crazy? Off of that news, if I had to guess. But if only there was a way we could look at charts and we could see is Bitcoin pumping. If only we had an expert who's an expert at not only cooking up, good trades, profitable trades. He also, just has great information too. It's Kellam. Kelly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You know what? Holiday season, I want to take a moment just to say how grateful I am to be on this team, how grateful I am for our channel as a whole to have switched to doing stuff that's just quality content focused, like value for our community. And thank every single one of you that's out there watching. Hit that like button right now. And I want to echo something that Joshua said that the markets are extremely bullish right now. And I just want to show you some charts that substantiate that and let you know that just because it's bullish doesn't mean we're not going to see some chops. So this chart right here from Game of Trades, this is NASDAQ. This is from yesterday. Hits levels not seen in 52 weeks. So over a year, we're basically forming new highs on the NASDAQ. We also see right here, the NDX, which is basically tech relative to small caps. So the tech industry really pushing up on the market is the highest it's ever been. This ratio of tech stocks performing compared to small caps. So we're seeing incredible bullishness. We see this chart right here, which I've shown a number of times. There's so much alpha in this chart. The blue line is S&P 500. The orange line is Bitcoin. And I just want to point something out here. Massive downtrend. I measured it out on the chart earlier. It's about a 12% downturn on the S&P 500 from this point up here down to this point right here. In the same face of this, we saw a little drop on Bitcoin, but the narrative here was dominated by the bulls and the long-term holders defending this area. So although we had a downturn in the stock market, Bitcoin, the bullish narrative held. This right here, this signal right here with this double bottom on these two retraces shows an incredible bullish narrative going into this holiday season. Now we see the S&P 500 is pushing up. Bitcoin is kind of, stutter stepping at the moment. That's okay, because it's not just going to go straight up. But what we're seeing here is that the bulls are in control of this narrative, even on a pullback. A pullback does not mean bearishness. Sometimes it just means resetting. Now, when we're looking at Bitcoin dominance basically came down, pushed up, came down and tested right on these previous lows, which is also in line with the most regional, most local high that we've most recently had. We're finding support there. The reason why this is important is because everybody out there trading altcoins, and I love altcoins, is look at the altcoin market. This is a total 3. Head and shoulders here. Is there an indication that we may see a pullback? Doesn't have to happen, but is there an indication it may? Maybe so. We're seeing a decrease in momentum all along the way here as price action has been pushing up. So maybe this is suggesting something. Now, in terms of Bitcoin, these are the levels that I'm watching. And I put out a newsletter yesterday for BitLab and for Crucial Crypto and Pluto Alliance. It's all one newsletter now that I'm putting out on the beginning of the weeks. And I was talking about these two levels are the most important 2 levels I'm watching. The level right above us, 38.9, let's call it 39,000, and the level below us, which is the previous high range right here, this 31.6, 31.7. So let's call it 32. Price action has just been consolidating at a slight uptick right here, and it's hovering right around this massive longer term level of a lot of support and a lot of resistance that we've come into, and we're just kind of being held here at the moment, and it just means patience. If we look at this chart, and I went back and I marked out, I did this on the BitLab stream earlier today. I marked out every previous Thanksgiving, and you can each one of these. It doesn't necessarily mean market's going to go straight up. In this case, I call this Rectopia. I mean, this was just straight down until we consolidated, then went up. This, we had a small pump up and then consolidation, and then finally in January we moved up. In this case, this is when we really started the move up. So it depends on what part of the market cycle you're in. But the reason this is important is because if we're looking at this, if we're looking at where we're at right now on Bitcoin, we're coming into a holiday season. Not only are we coming into a holiday season, a holiday doesn't necessarily mean price goes up. In fact, there's probably going to be very low volume, and there could be an opportunity for a wick or a move to the downside that may scare a lot of people. But we've already talked about how things are looking incredibly bullish. But this is the chart I want to show you right here, and I've showed it a lot, but I want to show you again. This blue uptick right here, this is what's signaling to me that we're more likely than not going to have a pretty strong December in terms of bullish price action, because this is liquidity coming back into the market. The liquidity, global, not US. This is global liquidity coming back into the market while the stock market's performing well, while we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA is expected to be like a $16 billion earnings report. Now, if you want to learn how to check into all these sort of things, I did put this out. We have a huge discount right now on BitLab Academy. Use the link right here on BitLab, at Academy BitLab. You can go directly here. It puts the coupon code in, or you can just put in this coupon code at checkout. But that's what I had to say. The last thing I wanted to show you, Binance coin, or BNB, BNB is pushing up. The chart, we did push up and sell off and then push up. Why does this happen? Why do you always buy drops? Why do you always sell and it goes up? Because that's what markets are designed to do. Shake you out if you don't have strategy and if you are trading on emotions. If you have an idea about a coin, I'm a net buyer right now going into the halving, because all of these things I just said, stock market up, liquidity up, we're above key levels. Things are looking good. If you want to learn more about this, head over to BitLab Academy. Use 3 for 50 for 3 months for 50% off. That's all I got. Don't get caught in the chop. It's going to be a good December.
Great deal right there. 50% off. Love it. Love it. Kelly, always a great time, man. Thank you very much.
Happy holidays, man.
All right. And all right, let's talk about Bitcoin here. Bitcoin stalls below 38K is an analysis, hence notorious BID is back. Josh, I never got your take on this. Who is better, Tupac or Biggie? Chat, let me know who is better, Tupac or Biggie. It's been a while. It's been like half a year since we've asked this question.
You age yourself again, DZ. I can't give you one on that.
Little Pump?
I'm like,
or
dude,
Pop Smoke?
Pop Smoke, man.
Stop
no,
stalling,
I'm actually,
Josh.
I don't listen to like any hip hop or rap like that, so I couldn't give you an honest opinion, chat. I'm sorry. I'm literally that like boring Like I was the EDM type dude, heavy metal, rock, and then a lot of classical.
Skrillex is my fave.
No, that's ear piercing.
All right, Crypto Tim with the $5 super chat. Bearish news for Thanksgiving to keep retail out. Next year will be super bullish this time of year to start using retail as exit liquidity. Yeah, I would be surprised if that plays out, Crypto Tim. And I think the real exit liquidity is going to be happening 2025, not 2024. We have to vote for Big E. All right, it's clearly Big E. Everybody. All right, Bitcoin stalls below 38K as analysis hints that notorious BID is back. What is the notorious BID? Well, it's thought to rematch 18-month highs in November 21 as order book activity gave one analysis a sense of deja vu. Looks like they're showing price momentum is building to top out at 37,770. Analyzing order book data suggests that major liquidity provider, which informally called the notorious BID at the time, could be shaping bid support once again. Who is this notorious BID? It's CZ. I don't know who it is. I don't know.
It's oddly convenient.
Hey, I had to come up with 4 billion. Anyways, all right. Among whales, it was the largest order class between 1 million and 10 million, which is only active cohort, with others unanimously decreasing exposure through the week. So all those guppies, sharks, those minnows, hey, we're starting to get out. We're starting to, ease back. Meanwhile, the whales making those trades between, 1 and 10 mil, they're going in harder. They're going in harder. If you had to guess, these $1 to $10 million bets, bullish or bearish?
I mean, more volume's always bullish. I honestly anticipate more volume coming back into these markets as we approach the halving. Guys, we are like weeks away, if not, well, in my opinion, months away from a spot Bitcoin ETF. You're going to start seeing a lot more volume picked up. And honestly, I was going to pull up a liquidation chart, but, just talking about the overall shorts in the market, like even this FUD that's coming out trying to drag prices down, it's shooting a short squeeze higher. So we know the volume's here. People are holding longer. There's less Bitcoin in supply on exchanges. This is bullish momentum.
This just in, Josh listens to Nickelback. All right,
look at that photograph.
Look at that.
That's the only part I know.
Josh wants to say Eminem so bad. His favorite rapper is Vivek, everybody. That's my favorite rapper.
That did not hit with me at all.
Hey, you got people talking.
We were talking about what cringe.
I think it was Iowa State Fair.
What's the type of acting we were saying a little bit?
Method acting. Method acting. Yeah, we got into a heated 30-minute. It was really just DZ on the soapbox. I was explaining to everybody why I think method acting is cringe.
I'm pretty sure Vivek did for the whole day before that 24 hours that he just repeated it. Like he just got into it. It's like, I'm going to look like a savage.
No, he started acting like Eminem. So he started dating a woman named Kim, got into a very volatile relationship with it. And then he dyed his hair blonde. It was really weird. It was really weird. All right, let's talk to Bitcoin here. Let's talk to Bitcoin. Go up already. Go up.
Please, Satoshi.
Selling pressure by Bitcoin miners is at a 7-year low, everybody. Oh, let me go down a little bit lower. Very bullish indicator right there. Very, very bullish indicator. All right, so they don't want to get rid of their Bitcoin. They think they're betting on it going higher in the future would be my guess, because at the end of the day, most of these entities have to pay electricity bills. Very, very high electricity bills. They can't just sit on their Bitcoin forever. They have to dump it eventually to cover costs. The fact that they're pushing the ball down to the 20-yard line, very, very bullish there. That Russian person threw me off there. I don't know what you're asking, buddy. All right.
But yes. Wait. I don't know if that's a yes.
BJ pretends he's like a multilinguist, so he'll probably have something for us.
Oh, never mind. I should not have said that.
I don't know what it is. All right. The significant drop in selling pressure from the miners is reflected in the flow of Bitcoin from miners' wallets to exchange wallets, which is at its lowest level since 2017.
Would you look at that?
Despite low selling pressure, revenue has increased over the last 3 months, reaching the highest levels of the year. Miners are the only entity in the market that requires ongoing costs. So they've never made, in the last 3 months, they're making more Bitcoin than ever off the ordinals. So it's like not only the block, every 10 minutes, some Bitcoin's released. Well, you get miner fees as well during the network. Well, Ordinals has skyrocketed Bitcoin usage like 400%. So they've never been making more Bitcoin recently, yet they're still sitting on their Bitcoin. So I would say it's like doubly bullish right there.
Double bullish. And guys, Bitcoin miners are becoming more and more profitable because of artificial intelligence and everything they're doing with their data centers. So I'm not going to get to all the tech nerd talk on that, but ultimately, Bitcoin is just going to become more efficient to mine, and it's accessing new markets and energy that wasn't able to be accessed before. So there's a lot of value to this, and I think we're going to see a lot more Bitcoin miners actually starting to progress more towards profitable miners with data centers. So this is all bullish.
All right.
all years
Stop
round.
with the Josh listens to. He'll tell you who he listens to. I like Elton John. All right. There's nothing wrong with liking Elton John. Okay.
I listen to audiobooks of the Roman Empire.
Okay. BJ, when's the last time you thought about the Roman Empire? Chat, when's the last time you thought about the Roman Empire?
Always.
Me, it was yesterday. I think yesterday for sure. If not the day before, for sure. Because I saw a Napoleon movie poster, then I started thinking about Gladiator.
I'm all rock,
and
guys.
stuff.
It's like all rock and roll or a lot of heavy metal.
Oh, God, I've been listening to Sons of Anarchy. That music's kind of unbearable for me. I'm a Tupac.
Yeah,
right?
but
A
you
Biggie
call heavy metal not heavy metal.
What?
Like Bring Me the Horizon's not heavy metal.
Hey, all right, y'all lost me.
We have a maxi over here. It's like a Bitcoin maxi. Well, technically Ethereum's not a crypto. It's like it's the same industry. All right. Thank you, BJ.
One time I heard BJ say something unironically, and it was like, hey, Adam, I just found this new Japanese anime synth horror rock wave. And it was a lot of adjectives. It was synth, it was Japanese, synth, grindcore or something. Is it ringing a bell here, BJ?
Grindcore?
It was city pop.
Okay, he said a lot more than that anyways. All right, so he's not going to play game here. All right, yeah, you'd be really great in the Groundlings or Second City. All right, let's talk about trillions coming into the system, everybody. Trillions. Venture capitalist says rapid adoption of crypto now underway as trillions of dollars wait on the sidelines. We're talking about Chamath Palihapitiya saying 6 trillion. He threw out a number, 6 trillion waiting on the sidelines. Why is this so big? I'll kind of give my take here. Money managers only make money if they deploy your money. So they don't want to have your cash sitting on the sidelines. And so that's just bullish for Bitcoin ETFs if approved.
Yeah, I mean, guys, let's look at the title here. Venture capitalist Dan. Okay, venture capitalist Dan. We're just gonna call him Dan for short here because I'm not gonna pronounce his last name. They're craving this. They see trillions of dollars. What this means, guys, is 2023 or 2024. The next ICO run is going to be massive. We're going to see venture capitalists come in here once again, repeating this process in marketing because they want to access, they want to taste this trillions of dollars. So that's a really bullish remark just because, guys, when venture capitalists come in with the money, they're going to market for that money. Whether the product's good or not, they're going to market, they're going to advertise, and they're going to bring awareness and adoption, even though they use a lot of us as exit liquidity. But
do you like herbs like oregano and thyme?
No.
What about basil or basil? Basil, if you're in the
like
UK.
Cilantro, parsley, I use a lot. That's about it.
Well, that was all just a terrible segue for the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision.
I was like, where are you going with this?
I know that was a bad one. There's some British viewers who are like, hey, London, big shout out to London. Hit that like button if you're in London. London's one of our top cities. So we love the UK. We love all the people in London. So that one was for you. I said Basel. I'll try to work in controversy tomorrow's episode. All right, Bitcoin and Ethereum XRP. Banks' crypto holdings exposed by the Basel Committee of Banking Supervision. They unveiled a report detailing the involvement of banks in crypto assets like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP. Let's just see what they say here. It looks like the total crypto exposure stands at 9.4 billion pounds there. Everybody's 19 banks reported their crypto assets, 10 from the Americas, 7 from Europe, and 2 from the rest of the world. I think one from the rest of the world, Nubank in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. So it looks, this is a good number right here. At close to 10 billion in crypto holdings, what is that? 5%? No, 0.5%. 0.05% of total exposure on a weighted average basis of the banks reporting the exposure there. When extended to the entire sample of banks, it then reduces the exposure 0.01. All right, that is pretty. Every $10,000, there's $1 in crypto. Okay, just visualize that right now. 10,000 paper bills thrown about the table. You grab one, that's going into Bitcoin probably. Imagine when it's 10 of those dollars, 100 of those dollars. Will it one day be 1,000 of those dollars, 2,000 of those dollars?
Yeah, that's. Hey, the bullish outcome here is there's more adoption. So that's what matters here. Don't take it as, guys, this is the adoption for real world assets, RWAs. That's going to be another narrative. But there is 10 banks specifically in the Americas. So this is huge. This is going to be more next year, more the following year. And it's more and more adoption. What I would pay attention to, though, is the amount represented here. So if we do get a Bitcoin spot ETF, financial advisors are going to be trying to relate everything they can to the traditional markets for all of their retail buyers that know nothing about Bitcoin. So seeing 0.05%, that's really low. I'm still looking, watch that number, because if banks start holding 1% allocation to their reserves, it's a very easy pitch for all these fintechs and these financial institutions to be like, hey, you as a retailer should also hold 1 to 2% in your reserves. So,
all right, wow, we're getting hot takes on London here. London is not the UK. Far, far from it. Honestly, ask anyone from the UK about London. They'll say it's its own foreign country these days.
Wow.
That probably sounds like someone in rural Alabama, say they're a rural juror, would probably say the same thing about New York City or San Francisco.
Yeah.
So, we're experiencing something similar here as well. And also, you take someone from Tenderloin District, you take them right out of the heart of San Francisco and you drop them in, super rural Alabama, Mississippi, they're going to be looking around like, where the heck am I? What decade is it? All right, well, let's just break down the percentages of crypto. We know most is going to be Bitcoin and Ether in these banks. Sure. 90%, in fact. What's up with the rest of that 10%? Is it 9.9% XRP? It's not. Is it a whole bunch of Cardano? It's a little. Let's actually look here. All right, so 90% Bitcoin XRP. You can see that right there. But all right, what's the rest? 2% Polkadot, 2% XRP. I was surprised Polkadot matched XRP. Then Cardano and Solana coming in at 1%. Surprised Solana is equal to Cardano. I figure Solana would be a little bit higher. Litecoin and then XLM or Stellar. Essentially probably more legacy follows from, just the years past. And like, oh, I see the Litecoin ticker on the finance channel. Maybe we add Litecoin. But yeah, very interesting data. Any surprise here? My big surprise, Polkadot being 2%. Polkadot equaling that of XRP. I never would have guessed that one. I mean, Litecoin.
I would have. I don't know. I think they're just grabbing the top ones at this point. You're going to see that portfolio continue to expand. The Litecoin still gets me. Litecoin I think is just an OG coin, but nobody talks about Litecoin.
Tom Crown talks about Litecoin.
Yeah, it's just like what do they call it? The test net of Bitcoin. That's what they're trying to go with now. Just add a little bit more transaction size.
There's people. Yeah, they're trying to. They're more able to break things. Or let me say, they're more able to evolve Litecoin versus Bitcoin. So I think you're gonna have all the people with the torches coming out the woodwork if you try to change anything to Bitcoin's code.
Yeah, I think it's just a classic example of them just getting exposure to the industry, and you're gonna see that portfolio grow more and more.
All right. Well, speaking of growing more and more, my hatred.
Yes.
No, I try not to hate anybody.
And
but
inflation, that's growing more and more.
I do hate inflation. That's just a thought, right? U.S. Treasury Secretary warns of persistent inflation. What's going on in the background over there? People love it. People love it. They knew. Look, the amount of time people have explained, look, it's just basement, and then people still type
below us. They're chained downstairs in the basement below us, right?
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. All right. Well, Janet Yellen here warning of persistent inflation despite progress, a challenging economic outlook. Yeah, I mean, they're still shooting for that 2%. Will they ever hit the 2%? I mean, it's an ongoing battle, but disinflation seems to be taking pretty strong root. And we've talked about this before. We have some indicators that are yet to come down the pipeline, like rent decreases and home price decreases. So then, gas is kind of low a lot of places in the country. Yeah. So I expect disinflation to continue.
It's going to get worse.
What the dollar looked like when it was backed by gold over 100 years ago. My fiance struggles to find me a Christmas gift. She was almost, we were just like laughing about it yesterday. She's like, well, what do you want? I was like, well, literally nothing. She's like, you can't tell me nothing. I said, well, I don't know, some element cubes. And she just, I just saw the autism affecting her. She's just like, oh my God, what am I getting into? And so, I actually spent some time today. What are some gifts? I'm going to make her a list. You know what actually made the list? Old paper money. I think your crypto enthusiasts in your life, they might like something like this. Do you carry around any old money? Have any old money?
No, paper's nasty. Like, dollars are nasty.
Fair.
It's disgusting. If you guys ever do the test on it, it's like 95% of it has traces to some like drug or feces. Like, yeah, it's just nasty. It's gross.
It's all blow and butt.
And it's so insufficient. I've ripped like $100 bills before, and you're like, man, now I have to go to literally the bank. I can't use this anymore. We're moving away from it. We're gonna get the palm readers. People are gonna be mad about that, but they've had that technology for 15 years. And we have to move towards that, guys, because paper is just becoming worthless, more and more worthless over time. We have Janet Yellen here literally saying, hey, we need to fund Israel. We need to fund Ukraine. And just like asking for hundreds of billions of billions of billions of billions of dollars, while everyday Americans are still struggling here just to pay our groceries or our rent. So I don't like paper. I like my crypto. I like my Bitcoin. And I think everything should be digital in the future.
People hate the mug spinning, by the way. Coffee. You know what? A coffee warmer a little thing you put your mug on and it keeps the coffee warm. That's also on there as well. Hey, maybe I'll do a little product review whenever I get them. All right, Blue Seal 5s are one of my favorites. Yeah, I have some old money. It's interesting because you can see payable to the bearer on demand in silver. And if you go even older, it's paid in gold. And people have the idea that you could, our money's backed by gold, right? Like, well, no, not since this. You show them how money has changed and how they change what they print on there. But speaking of money, a whole lot of money was frozen, almost $250 million, frozen by Tether over human trafficking in a pig butchering scam. You heard pig butchering scam, Josh. What were you thinking?
Like, the first thing that comes to my mind when I read that word, and I don't know why, is Jim Cramer. That's just what my mind went to, but I have not heard of this yet, so I'm excited to break down this article.
Is it because he's hairless and pink-skinned?
I just he butchers all of his stock, picks. That's kind of that's where I'd go with
BJ,
it.
Pigs are ovine, right? Ovine? Are you saying he has ovine characteristics? Or is that horse?
I don't know.
I don't know. Bovine is cow. I don't know.
It was just a low blow.
We have the smartest chat.
This is full of bad actors from a relationship with a victim online to gain their trust. Wow, that's what hackers do. That's crazy. And convince them, the victim, to invest in cryptocurrency platforms that the scammers control. Once the victim has invested a significant amount of money, the con artist would disappear from the funds.
Back in my day, it was called catfishing.
Yeah.
That is just catfishing with the financial element. So when you catfish for money, so when you got that female in your DMs asking how your trade's going, it's just some guy trying to hustle you.
Yeah,
so.
My car is going to get repoed if I don't pay it this month. Guys, don't message any of the people impersonating us. We're never going to ask for money. We're never going to ask for crypto. We're never going to beg for crypto. You get the point from there.
All right. Blood in the house as well. All right. Well, so Tether with OKX, they have frozen $225 million over a pig butchering romance scam. They're convincing them, hey, I'm an attractive mate of yours. Don't you want to have physical relations with me? Well, the only way that's going to happen is if you send me Bitcoin. That's how, normal relationships are, right? So, the fraudsters refer to their victims as pigs because they use elaborate storylines to fatten up the victim into believing they are in a close relationship. The next thing you're with the hogs in the mud, slinging mud back and all right.
Soon at this rate, with just the way society's going, it will be an AI bot just impersonating a person and responding through ChatGPT, and somehow we'll still convince them that this person is talking to a real person. It's just going to get worse. But hey, where's that 225 million going? Is that going back to us or?
It is frozen, and that is a very good question. So they freeze it. What about the money that was turned into Tether? Hey, they gave them $225 million of cash.
Do they burn that or?
Yeah, what do they do with the? I'm assuming the government would want a piece, right?
Well, they're one of the largest Bitcoin holders in the world. They don't like to disclose that. They're very bearish on it, but they openly auction it off every now and then, and they're still one of the largest holders. So
yeah, what do they do with the underlying cash? And what do they do with the Tether on the balance sheet?
If you would like to request an audit, we can get back to you in 6 years. We will probably fail it for the next 15, but once you forget about it, we'll remind you.
Hey, Tether be passing those attestations, but who watches the watchmen? Who's testing the testers? I don't know. All right, who's getting testy?
Ooh, Elon Musk,
and getting his testes riled up. Elon Musk. That is right. His testes are musky, baby.
Ew, that was not a good segue. I'm going to take that one. Media matters, guys, for America. Wow, I could smell that from here. And the picture with him, he's laughing at it too. But guys, Elon Musk's X Corp sued Media Matters for America for defamation on Monday after the left-leaning nonprofit released a report on ads on X running next to pro-Nazi content and helped trigger an advertiser exodus. Now, they automatically went to pro-Nazi content, and this is what Elon Musk is, of course, going to be defending, saying that he did not take it that far. There's, certain, you want to get into this? We're going to get into this?
Linda Yaccarino, she's the CEO of X, one of the few companies that actually has a CEO that Musk owns. If you know me, I'm committed to truth. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. Not a single authentic user on X saw any of these ads next to the content in the article. Only 2 users saw Apple's ad next to the content, at least one of which was Media Matters. So only 2 saw it, one of which was Media Matters. Data wins over manipulation or allegations. Do not be manipulated. Stand with X. And then I think I saw some sort of thing where they had multiple accounts having, I think, like 37x the amount of ads being sent their way, and then the type of content. So they gamed the algorithm to try to find this questionable content, and then they're sitting here doom scrolling, trying to find an Apple ad. And then they're like, finally found it. And it wasn't any kind of real authentic use. You know, it was just sitting there.
Yeah.
You do that long enough. I mean, it's just like you play the lotto enough times. Yeah, someone's going to win. There's only a finite set of numbers. You know, you can only scroll it so many times before, you know, it ends up happening. So that's their basically their response.
You know, it's censorship. That's what we're seeing again. We saw this with the Twitter. Ooh, that was the Twitter files released.
We need to censor you.
Man, you need to censor me. And after that, you know, Musk one too. We might need to censor you. But this is where we're at, guys. This is now, you got to be careful with every single thing that you say, whether or not it actually is going to. This was just next to an Apple ad, and they're coming at them for their advertisers because they don't like their perspectives. And this is where you run into that question, that moral and ethical question of, hey, where's the lines for freedom of speech? And we're seeing that now with freedom of code and crypto too. So I'm for Elon Musk on this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely for Elon Musk on this one. You know, I'm always for free speech, and you know, the people historically who try to censor haven't been the good guys. Just historically.
But the frivolous lawsuit meant to bully ex-critics into silence. You know, it's like you can't because we're critical of you and suing you. Like, it doesn't make things right. And I don't have my stomach turns for this one. That's all I'm going to say on it.
Let's see. Yeah, no, you know, they'll say things like, "Oh, you know, Elon said this very anti-Semitic post," and then you like do digging, and then it'll be like, "This is the tweet," and you're like, "Wait, what?" Like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like people, you know. So it's interesting how they push a certain narrative when it comes to that guy. But you know, luckily he's helping our military. Otherwise, they would really come after him.
And that includes the advertisers, guys, that are cutting spending ads. It's going to be Disney, Apple, IBM, Lionsgate, and the European Commission.
Lionsgate Films. Where they? That's an odd choice for me. LGF. I used to be really into that stock. I thought it was because they had all those stupid young adult novel movie rights, and I was like, ooh, down the pipeline. And then like Maze Runner flopped, and then I was like, all right, well, I'm selling all that.
Yeah.
All right, I was like, ooh, this is a new wave. Apple sued. Speaking of Apple sued for blocking crypto tech for peer-to-peer payments. They're facing a class action lawsuit over alleged anti-competitive conduct in the iOS peer-to-peer payments market. So disgruntled consumers have filed a class action claiming that they're limiting their peer-to-peer options on its devices and block crypto technology from iOS payment apps. These agreements limit feature competition and the price competition that would flow from it market-wide, including by barring the incorporation of decentralized cryptocurrency technology, so not allowing us to send Bitcoin from one person to another safely and securely. Should they face action for that, Josh? Or since they're a private company, they should be able to do whatever they want. Where do you land on that?
I mean, you make a good point there. Are they a private company or are they a monopoly, right? So it's like, okay.
Duopoly, to be fair.
Duopoly to an extent. I think, 75% of Americans own iPhones?
Well,
Isn't
70%
it like something
globally,
like that?
70% globally is Android.
It's Android. Well, yeah, so it brings in the question, where's that limit? If we don't allow them to do what they want with their platform, does that mean we have too much government intervention with their systems? And so it's just another prime example of why we need to decentralize these industries. We shouldn't have centralization upon our internet, our cell phone services, et cetera. There shouldn't be these monopolies that are created. And that's hopefully what we're standing up for. And that's what a lot of crypto represents. So
breaking. I have a breaking story from last night. Breaking Ethereum exchange supply hits 5-year low. This is pretty bullish news, everybody. 5-year low for ETH on exchanges. Will it propel ETH to 4,000? I think there's two things. All right, so Josh, do you want the bullish take or the bearish take? I got either.
Let's get the bullish take here, because I'm going to
bullish take. I mean, the fact that all right, so 4-year cycle, people. When you see anything above 4 year, that means it went through an entire cycle, so it is lower than the lowest point previous cycle. So when you see something on a 3-year timeline, like, well, within the 4-year cycle, maybe it's not as bullish as you might think it is. 2-year, 1 year, especially. But when you get to 5-year, 6-year, that's when it has a complete cycle under its belt. So when you see 5-year plus lows, very, very bullish. So that's my bullish take. You want the bearish take?
Well, for the bearish take, take the bearish take too. Honestly, I'll get your thoughts on it.
They're staking.
Yeah.
A whole lot of people are staking their ETH. Done. That's it.
I don't know. I would just say that no matter what, lower supply in your exchanges is still going to be bullish for this next cycle because there's going to be more volume. There's going to be more exposure. It doesn't matter what your project is, what the past is on the project. Has it had issues? That exposure, as long as there's a good community and marketing behind it, the lower the supply on exchanges and with an obvious increase in demand, guys, basic economics, you're going to see some pretty explosive price actions moving into this next cycle. So bullish.
Here we have the exchange. It's we got the blue line for amount of ETH. We got the black line for ETH's price there. You can see it just on a sharp decline. Will it start to turn around, or do we got another leg to the downside there? Yeah, then it was 2018. You can see it was last matched around there, and then boom, look at that skyrocket right there.
Wow.
All right, that's the exchange reserve skyrocketing. That was ETH Foundation dumping on your head. I don't know. I have to look at the date.
Hey, it was actually the day that was the top. It was a direct top. So, and I think he brags about on the bottom too, one or the other. So obviously just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Right.
Bragging about the bottom.
Yeah, just bragging about buying the top and the bottom and controlling a lot of the markets. Nothing about it.
I don't like to sell shame. So I never sell shame. You want to criticize Charles for selling. You want to criticize Vitalik for selling. Justin Sun for selling. I don't like to sell shame. So, hey, congrats. And you know what? I'll try to learn from you and make your strategy next cycle.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
I wish communities, I don't think I'm afraid to say it just to communities out there because I'm not a max on any front. I hold a lot of altcoins. It's just like, when can a community just admit that, like, hey, like, don't sell shame for sure? I mean, they made the project. You're treating it like that SaaS model, kind of borderline securities at that point. But either way, it's like, sell it off. They're using us as exit liquidity.
Liero says, how is staking bearish? Staking, no, it's a bearish indicator for exchange. It's basically saying, don't get too caught up in 5-year low for exchanges on with Ethereum, because previously people would maybe just hold it on in exchange, but now I'm talking about the people who do not self-custody. 5 years ago, they would just hold it on exchange and not care about it. Now there's a certain percentage of them who would rather stake it. And so that's why you're going to see a huge reduction in amount of ETH on supply or exchange supply.
Yeah, if you're going to hold it on an exchange, why not stake it? Because both have the risk of collapsing. So
if
you never sell, why buy? That is every NFT trader in the world.
It's easy. Mike Bennett asked.
I'm in it for the tech, the art. What's up, BJ?
Sell shame
at the seashore. Sell shame at the seashore. Sell shame at the seashore. The easiest word in your mind that is difficult to say, toy boat. Cannot say toy boat 3 times fast. You want to try?
No.
Oh man, I'll do it.
I've had enough stutters today.
I'll do it. Toy boat. It's hard, y'all. It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at Cardano. Shout out to the Cardano fans right here. Cardano to welcome first privacy token protocol this month. This is off the back of midnight, I believe here. So ecosystem set to welcome its first privacy-focused protocol as the demand for confidential blockchain transactions becomes prominent. Ian Coins revealed Monday that his new token-based protocol would launch on the Cardano mainnet on November 30th. Are you ready? They're on the verge of an exciting chapter. I guess it's Incoins, poised to launch on the 30th of this month, attempting to revolutionize secure transactions on the Cardano blockchain. All right, dubbed the Incoins protocol, is going to be using zero-knowledge proof cryptography on the user facing in. The project enables users to lock ADA coins to mint Incoins. They call them a bundle of NFTs. All right. Well, and then the NFTs records the encrypted value of the locked asset. And then you move the NFTs privately. Okay, pretty cool tech there. Yeah, just more and more stuff happening with Cardano. So hey, I'm pretty happy about it. That was
you love
good,
talking about Cardano. I love talking about AI. And guys, one of the best performing products, Fetch.ai. I wonder. Let me know in the chats, guys, if you hold this. Fetch.ai is a project.
That's for the robot dogs, right?
Dogs.
We've seen the videos with the robot dogs. Sometimes they got a gun, and so if you don't throw the stick, it shoots you dead.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Not quite. This is the replacement to Sam Altman.
Man.
So close.
That sounds cool, though.
So that would be scary.
Throw the stick.
Have
or
you
else,
seen the the video of them explaining like how we took down like Saddam, and they're like, imagine that with robotic dogs, because we used dogs back then for that. Like robotic dogs are like they just blast through a wall, and like all of a sudden they have just these robotic dogs barking at you. That'd be scary.
You have to give them red eyes. Otherwise, I'm not scared. If I don't see red eyes, I'm gonna go pet it.
Do they breathe fire?
I'm still petting it if I don't see the red eyes. Yeah.
It's metal.
Look, that's how it cooks its food. I don't know.
Well, that's an interesting take on,
like
on the robo
dog. Raw meat makes it sick.
Dude, I remember having a robo dog. I don't know if you had those. You might have been too old for that, because that was like my childhood was the robo dogs. I don't know if you ever saw those that you like train it. They're so dumb. They were
No,
so
I'm
dumb.
old.
But
I'm like a Tamagotchi era.
it was like a 1 year thing that lasted. But guys, the crypto company operating since 2019, Fetch.ai, this is one of the best performers in the AI sector here, is building a decentralized, machine learning network that is expected to disrupt the way crypto world approaches AI systems, promising unprecedented benefits and convenience. Fetch.ai is also introducing a crypto token FET, which is already out here. But starting from a fundamental analysis, we can introduce the Fetch AI products as an artificial intelligence lab that aims to build blah, 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 blah. Guys, AI is going to be a massive trend here. So when you guys see the AI and big data sector, what I would say is make sure when you're looking into these products and researching them, this isn't Fetch, and I'm not talking about Fetch directly right here. You see the category. There's like 100 cryptos in there. So just make sure and double check that they're not a copy and paste of like a chat GPT and just being repurposed. But there is a lot of great projects and solutions in that space. I don't know if you have any thoughts on Fetch AI yourself.
I just did some AI research. It's so tough to tell with AI because AI, at the end of the day, you got a ship product. And AI can live on a story for a really long time compared to other industries. If you were like, hey, we're a steel processing plant, you can't sell that story for 7 years.
Yeah.
You're like, where the frick is the plant, man? Like, seriously, I've given you a lot of money. Where's the plant? With AI, you could sell a story. You could sell a dream. It could be 5 years later, then you have a bass playing robot named Sophia. And so on AI, I'm very, very critical. And I honestly don't think much is going to come from a lot of these projects, but I think there's going to be very good price action. So exactly. I have a balanced take here.
Yeah, it's going to be a really big trend, especially now that you have Grok from Elon Musk, like everybody battling for that. Now, my perspective on AI is I like finding the products that are using it to excel, whether it's like scientific discovery or some use case or supply chain logistics, boring stuff. But like that is the future here. If you use AI and integrate that, there's a lot of products out there that I think are building good.
I'll say this: when I was doing my research, I kept reading AI focused fill in the blank, AI focused marketplace, AI focused aggregator, AI focused DEX, AI focused, and at a certain point, you're just like, Are you just throwing in buzzwords to make it sound good? It reminds me of the Family Guy thing where Lois says 9/11 and everyone just goes crazy. And it's like you say, AI focus and investors go crazy.
Isn't that every protocol though? Like layer ones were a buzzword. Then it was like snarking. Then it was like layer twos. And it was whatever scalability
Well,
solution,
zero knowledge makes sense because, all right, I'm introducing privacy. I know what privacy is. Oh, you're keeping it a secret. When you say I'm introducing AI, what the heck does that mean?
What if they're integrating
What does it mean?
AI
I got robot
ZKs?
dogs? Does it mean I got red eyes? Like what does it actually mean? Is there a chat GPT function? Well, why don't I just get a plugin? So that's where I land on a lot of that stuff. I'm pretty bearish on results, but I'm not as bearish on price action. So that's my take there. All right. Hey, A, thank you very much. Hey, guys, I'm going to tell you something. I'm embarrassed. We talk about this all the time, and it's don't have too many coins. I got too many coins. What's the number one problem with having too many coins, Josh?
It could be over diversified.
Yeah,
and you can't pay attention. It depends on where you're at. Yeah, you can't pay attention to all of them.
You cannot follow them all. You don't know what's happening. All right. Oh, well, I got 3 coins. I could follow that pretty well. I got 303 coins. There's no way I could follow every headline. Well, look at BONK here. BONK elevates 2,247%.
Yeah.
I saw this headline. We're going to get into it in a second. This is, I just want to give you an example of me having too many coins. I saw BONK and I'm looking at this. I was like, what are they talking about? It's down 15%. These people are idiots. And I was like, well, maybe I'm not seeing the whole story. I clicked 7 day. What are they talking about 2,000%? Again, these people like literally don't know what they're talking about. So then I'm like, well, let me just see. So I click max. Holy what? Yeah, I've been in BONK. I was telling you guys about BONK. I held on to my BONK. I sold like 10, 20%. I think I sold 10% on 2 days. And then it had like you can see it had like the 80% correction. This was me. I like sold twice. Yeah, I just sold 10%. Ooh, man, I sold another 10%. So now I'm like down to 81% exposure. And then it just went, and then I held on to the 81%. Guess what I'm going to do after I open after the stream today? DZ's going to open up his Phantom wallet, everybody. So yeah, BONK elevating as the Solana founder, chiming in on meme coins. Please don't dump all your BONK on me before I can sell some. I'm going to sell probably another 20% here. So Solana-based Shiba Inu themed coin, BONK, was a huge hit in early 2023. Some say it was Sam Bankman-Fried. Some say it was just maybe Alameda employees. Well, they picked Solana right back up from falling to single digits. Emerging last year on New Year's Eve, it fetched an astonishing 4,424% price appreciation after being airdropped to Solana community members. Johnny got the airdrop. And hold on, I'll tell you where he sold. Sold like right there. He sold like a couple days in, or like he sold before this. I think he sold maybe after the first big pump there. So hey, that's why I didn't mind only selling 10%. You never know. Most of the time, you're going to end up burning that 80%. It goes down to zero. But every now and then, that 80% does a 10x. So now I paid for 9 losers. I can employ this strategy 9 more times, break out even if they all fail. If I get just a second winner, I'm well in the green, really, really well in the green. So
that's a massive W2 for the gains you had there. I do want to say from that response though, for people like saying like how they adjust their portfolios, I wouldn't categorize meme coins and count them as something that you need to watch. Like if I have a 10 crypto portfolio and then I have like 5 meme coins, like I feel like those are kind of just like slot machines that I'm throwing money at. And it's like, okay, those ones are just like, yeah, I'm going to put $200 in it, try to sell it off like you did. And you just set it and forget about it. You're like, and then the slot machine just went off again. It's like, all right, let's take those profits. Those ones are kind of like, for a lot of meme coin projects out there, guys, like one thing that I just don't like in the crypto industry is where people try to act like their meme coin that they launched has actual utility and is going to change the world. It's like, it's just a slot machine. And it's like, that's the perspective on a lot of those altcoins. So
yeah, and this strategy, this meme coin strategy doesn't work for dextools.io, hunting new coins that have, the contract's 4 minutes old.
Definitely.
Yeah, then it's going to be 1 out of 500 are going to pump. But when you're like looking at the Pepes and the ones that have erased a couple zeros.
Did you find this on Twitter?
For weeks?
Or how do you find meme coins? Like, I'm curious.
Usually it's feed. And say it's the first time, you can maybe go look at someone's account and say, oh wow, they were early in Pepe. They're telling me about Pepe early, or they're telling me about BONK early.
You kind of are just like, I'm just gonna take a chance.
Yeah, just take a chance. Sometimes if it speaks to you, there's some. We've had memes sweep the office where like literally. Like we have editors and stuff who, they just kind of are into crypto a little bit, not a whole lot like we are. Maybe they make a crypto move, a few times a year. We saw that with Cardano NFTs. There's this Boss Cat Rocket Club. It swept the office. We all bought Boss Cats, and then they all did a 10x. Sometimes you feel it. And the best way, I think Scott Adams says this a lot, you feel it physically. And so if you feel it physically, there's something there. Sometimes you look at a product and you're like, ooh, I feel something physically from this. I like it so much. So that's the real test there. Do you feel something in your musky area?
Back to the muskiness.
I had to.
Your musky, sweaty skin. Okay. Guys, we're welcoming this to Q&A now. So if you guys have questions, roll them out at any project. Doesn't matter what it is. Someone's talking about Rollbit right now coming from Fadden. Rollbit, I think SocialFi is like what they're calling gambling tokens. That's going to be a huge industry. I'm actually insanely bullish on decentralized gambling just because it's an addiction and there's always going to be market around it. If you have a good platform and this is an easier way to get around regulations and you can do it from your phone, you can do it from your home. Rollbit and those type of platforms, I think are going to continue to kick ass.
Here, I want to share this super bullish Chainlink. I've seen a lot of Link Marines in the chat right now. So, guys, you want to get super bullish on Chainlink, and meanwhile, get your questions in. Chainlink Labs has the guy who created Proof of Work, Facebook's chief of engineering, Google's ex-CEO, partner researcher at Microsoft, the founder of MIT's Crypto Economics Lab, Andrew Miller, and the list goes on and on. The highest talent group of people on Earth. Nobody can come close. So when I see oracles are competing, oracles I think are going to fall under the Google umbrella, where there's going to be a market winner based off a monopoly. Basically, it's called Metcalfe's law. When you have the power of a network, the power of a network is its node squared. I don't want to get into break that down too much there, but once you get that going, it's hard to defeat. I would point to Instagram for photo sharing apps, or look at TikTok for short form video. Once you get a monopoly, you try to leave, like YouTube. Maybe Rumble's doing okay. It's like you leave the island and you realize it's deserted, and so you just go back to the island. Even if you don't like the people on the island that much, at least there's people there. And so I'm seeing something similar with Chainlink. I think it might be the island where you're like, all right, well, I'm gonna go explore a different Oracle Island, and then you go there and it's like 4 people saying we're the future, and you're like, Really? Because there's only 4 people here and there's like 4 million over there. I'm going to go back to the island of 4 million people.
Yeah, we had Algepine ask about stellar lumens and just kind of thoughts on it.
A lot of XLM here.
Yeah, XLM, that's, it's a product that's been around obviously for a while. It's like the little brother to XRP. You had Jed McCaleb, who, if you guys want to get into any group chat, try to figure out what Facebook Messenger group he is in, because this is somebody that got out before Mt. Gox, got out before the Ripple lawsuit, and then just got away with like just dumping billions of dollars on us. And so, what Stellar Foundation essentially created, which is a copy and paste of XRPL. And I actually still hold XLM. I hold XRP. It kind of moves in tangent. It's like the Litecoin. It's like the little brother. I don't believe Stellar is going to ever topple the XRPL and Ripple itself. I think Ripple has way higher connections at this point. But that is somebody to watch. So if you ever see Jed McCaleb making moves into a new company or a new, cryptocurrency, he's like one of those OGs that kind of, he's an OG. He knows what to do with, just his crypto when to buy and sell.
I'm gonna try to pull up a XLM chart here because there is I have a little bit of a bullish take here. The problem is I can't get a chart that goes back far enough. I might have to.
I have a question for you. Do you think it can ever break out of, break past of the XRP's little brother narrative, where it kind of always just pumps inconsistent? I got you. Yeah.
So all right, here's my bullish take here. All right, if you go. All right, so I'm gonna have to show 2 charts here. XLM, just imagine the line. I can't find a trading view chart that goes back far enough. I can only get them to go back about this far. Imagine a line and imagine the trend line. So then that means, let's just guess, the bull market will be around here. We're just guessing. Going off this chart, you're seeing a pretty good multiple, right? Well, look at XRP with the same situation. I'm not saying this trend line is not going to be broken, y'all, okay? So just bear with me here. I'm just saying it's extra support there. Look how sharp this line is. And so we're like already at resistance. So XLM
I think we
has
broke out of
further
that
to go before this insane resistance. That's what I'm just going to call this massive trend line. So XRP has massive resistance. That's just happening a lot sooner than XLM's massive resistance. Yeah. I know that's not much. It's not very technical, but it's just something that I've noticed in the past. So I just want to point that out to you guys. Casper is a S coin on ETH, isn't it? I think we have to talk.
Casper.
Nick DeMondi likes Casper. I'd have to ask him.
It falls under that smart contract protocol, like ISO 222 narrative. Again, it fell under that umbrella by a lot of those influencers. I've met actually a few of the team members. They were very early on when I was streaming on Twitch. I haven't spoke to them in literally the last 3 years since. But I do know and understand that, guys, those kind of umbrella, I like to call it the umbrella effect. It's like when one of those cryptos pumps massively, all of the same marketing tools and influencers and creators and members and founders, they all start coming to Twitter and talking about it. So they kind of all move together. And so if you see a quant or an HBAR or an XRP, those things, those tend to move and get some trajection in this next market. I think Casper will follow along. I don't know anything about the tech though here anymore.
I talked to Akon back in 2021, and he was like, "Yeah, XLM doing a lot of partnerships in Africa, and I work in Africa extensively. I have a bird's eye. I'm looking at this. I know it's happening." Been 2.5 years since I've talked to Akon, and it hasn't really played out. I think maybe small partnership here and there.
Flip of the switch, DZ.
Hey, maybe it's slow and then gradually and suddenly. So maybe that's the case, Josh. Who knows? Honest price prediction for Matic, please, by 2025.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
I'll do that one. Let's see. Let's both jump in here. Let's see. Matic. I was like, wait a minute. I've gone too far.
This is a great.
I do think it's a new all-time high.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if this trend line will play out. We'll hit $6 over here. Yeah, I think I came in as a 2x over last cycle. I think that's where I'm coming in at. Last time I looked, it was so that gives us around $6. What do you, maybe a lot of resistance around 5 as well, because it's a psychological number.
It's psychological for that, definitely. I think everything in crypto, guys. If you guys are brand new to crypto, Maddox is going to be. This is a perfect little learning lesson. So 100%, everything moves as like a psychological factor in these markets because it's a lot of retail speculation. So if you haven't read Chapter 8 from Benjamin Graham's Investor, I like shouting that all the time because you need to learn about that. It's the one chapter. It's free online. Learn what the psychology of markets means. But Matic is one of those products that has a great team, some of the most partnerships in the world. And I am going to be biased here because I got in on Matic at like 2 or 3 pennies. And this was one of my largest gainer portfolios in 2021. After it did that, it did 220 or 29,000% gain. It's tokenomics here, guys. This is called cryptorank.io. I really recommend you guys use this website. And you can like see all the fundraising, all the vesting schedules and everything with this project. But Polygon specifically already has like 90% of the tokens in circulation. So this is something that everybody loves. It's a layer 2 that is needed for Ethereum scalability. And I look at it as a blue chip at this point. So I think $5 is going to be that significant resistance. But I do believe Matic's going to blow past all-time highs, no problem.
All right, I think, well, let me just say, not much of a problem. I think there'll be a little bit of resistance, right, with this trend line right here. I can't really, maybe if I go up enough, you could maybe see it. Yeah, you can see it's dating back all the way to the early days of the coin. Let's say this is probably going to hit it on the tail end of 2024. That's where I'm expecting a lot of new all-times to hit around December 2024, and then we're in price discovery zone. I think this will battle around. This is really kind of playing out perfectly with the timeline. So I said new all-time high. This is kind of my general thesis. New all-time high for coins December 24. This is December 24 right there. So bursting through, might kind of bounce, and then I think it's going to burst through and yeah, I think it's maybe $5. I'm still coming in $5-6. I think the leg up will be similar to the distance we see right here from the line. I think we'll see similar distance right here. So I know very not technical, but you'd be surprised how the non-technical things like just love to play out, because there's a lot of people just looking at this same exact trend line and people are just going to leverage trade off of it. I'm not saying, oh guys, I have the secret line. No one else sees my line. I'm saying my line's so obvious, everyone's going to be trading off of it.
And
so,
I want to give a shout out to Mark White, because he said, I made him a little mad yesterday with my H-bar price prediction. I still love you, brother. This is just a very strong discussion. I'm an H-bar junkie. I've met a lot of their team members, interviewed them a few times. It's just like, this is where sometimes you have to just admit and diversify that portfolio. H-bar did have that positive price action. DZ had a really bullish outlook on it. It's just one of those I put in that category. I'm like, hey, it might hit. And even then, I still had a 6x prediction. So it's like, that's still significant gains. But yeah, sorry about that one, brother.
Love Crypto Blood's take on XLM. Yeah, it is an old narrative. It's an old narrative. It's like pretty soon it'll be like Tether FUD at some point. Cardano is guilty of it. Kenyan school records. I think that's the country there. Will Algo be a top 25 coin? Where is Algo right now? Right now,
I think Algo is probably one of the most 41. Mid blockchains on the planet.
It's around 40.
So freaking mid. I'm sorry. Algorand's not one of my favorite ones. And look, I mean, just the sell-off alone, you could just see what the foundation was trying to do early on. But their focus is like a clean blockchain, carbon credits. And it's like the carbon credit system is such a scam. And this is not the way to approach that. It is definitely through probably private companies, private corporations. This is something I've looked into. I actually had a meeting and went to a fundraising event with DeSantis and spoke directly with him for a few minutes on ESG standards because he's very anti-ESG. I think the way to solve that is actually through Bitcoin mining, not launching a SaaS model, ultra green platform that is just, again, I'm not the biggest
ESG
fan.
narrative is dying out. I didn't realize Algo has fallen out of the top 50. It is ranked 54 on CoinGecko.
It hit all time. Didn't it hit its like newest low ever? Just like a few weeks ago?
Yeah. Daniel Martin, I think it's a possibility, but it's not going to be, it would be like 28, 25, if it even gets close. And that would just be based off some, vaporware announcement.
I'm actually curious.
Like, some green initiative or something.
Let's see their tokenomics here.
Let's see. Tau. Okay. I know Gary Gensler likes it. And, Clinton Foundation has worked with an entity that has, Clinton Foundation didn't work with it directly. They worked with an entity that worked with it.
We're in crypto to like disrupt and break away from these three-letter agencies and these regulatory enforcers like Gary Gensler. It's like you're out here defending, you're out here like claiming that you're all for Bitcoin and its freedom and private money and breaking away from the establishment. And then you choose the most establishment-based cryptocurrency on the planet to support. Yeah, I'm just not buying it. I'm not a fan of Algo. I'm sorry.
All right. Let's see. Tau is going to be the most wanted coin on the planet. No, well, we won't do that. It'll be popular though. Let's see. Fan X, I think Blair, that's going to be a very competitive space, and I don't see, I don't think you can predict the winner right now because I think a big Web 2 company can come in and just crush everybody.
X,
maybe rhymes with corn chub. I think a Web 2 company with bigger pockets can just crush everybody. So they would have the user base, they would have the content. So I'd be careful betting on these Web 3 entities, but maybe one of them does pretty well, and maybe they get bought up. So someone can buy their platform, buy their crypto infrastructure in the back end. That's a possibility. So I would be looking for a company that's their objective. Their objective is to get bought out by a large Web 2. I'd be wary of anybody who's like, we're going to take them down and be number one. That's maybe a fool's errand. Let's see. Okay, Nervos. I don't know much about Nervos. I know TJ likes Nervos. I'd maybe ask that one in the basement. You probably get a good answer.
Yeah, it's an Australian company that was trying to fix the trifecta with interoperability in layer 0, essentially.
Okay, but that's
Proof of work. You can mine it.
okay. All right.
Like,
well,
for what?
BJ seems to not hate it. All right. Cade, better late than never. All right. Registering that on ADA handles now. C90. You rapscallion. You rapscallion. I was looking at ADA handles just today. 4 digits are 500 ADA. What the heck? I remember me and Taco looking at each other. We minted like 4 or 3. They're like 100 ADA a piece, 88 or something like that. And I remember we looked at each other like, shouldn't we be doing this like again and again and again and again and again and again?
Yeah.
But we were like, oh, I don't want to like just burn on my ADA on this gamble. The ones we sold for massive profit. So yeah, that was one of my like slam dunk plays. And I only put in a little bit of skin in the game.
Do you still have any 3 digits left?
I have my area code, and I minted 2 because they weren't cheap. I minted 2. I know I have my old area. I have my phone's area code. I might still have my second one. Maybe I sold it.
Do you want to buy Felon Yellen from me?
No.
Or Pelosi Trading?
That's a good one. I have Wall Street Bets. I think that's.
Were you good? Was the Gala one you responded to with the like Web2 companies going to come in?
No, the one that you see the question right below it. It was on that one.
Okay,
There's a
gotcha. I was like, I tried to
only
because I'll answer that question for Aloha there with Gala. I'm a huge fan of play to earn game. I think integrating crypto to esports is going to be huge in the future. Gala is just one that I have learned to just kind of love to hate at this point because they have done so many things to their gaming community that were just over promises and then completely stripped away things like NFTs that were supposed to breed horses and that you would spend tens of thousands of dollars on. And then the company goes, oh, you know what? We're not going to add that feature anymore, but we're going to take that money and we're going to go buy private jets. So there was a lot of misallocation of customer funds. There was a lot of discrepancies within the gaming community. And so for Web2 companies, Gala's one of those ones, it will pump. They know how to pump the token, but it has some of the worst tokenomics in the industry.
Gala node,
diluted it.
Gala node operators are just dumping on you all the time.
Yeah.
So that's the issue with Gala. It's just they have a reward mechanism. I don't know what they cost today, but they used to be like $40,000 and you get this Gala node. It's like $40K. Then it's just giving
like
you
a few hundred now.
It's giving you Gala.
Yeah. I think they've dropped like 99%. So it's just one of those products. It will pump, but just don't expect all-time highs.
Yeah, I mean, look at the price chart there.
Yeah.
Look at the price chart. It'll pump again. And part of the reason it's going to pump again is retail is going to look at that and say, well, what if it goes to that level again? What if?
Remember when they got like The Rock and I think like Mark Wahlberg to like advertise they were going to launch a movie with their platform? And there was all this hype in it. And then, of course, they didn't launch the movie. So it's like, they know how to market. I'll say that.
Yeah. And marketing is better than utility.
Technology.
Yeah, it is. When it comes to a token's price, marketing beats tech. It's just how it works.
The 2 biggest things I probably look for in a crypto are the leadership, because the leadership's going to directly roll over into the marketing, but the marketing as well, like who can generate a really strong community and development on network.
All right, we're going to wrap it up with this question from Chris P. Q&A. What is a good entry price for a Chainlink right now? I would not be mad at you. Maybe it goes down. I don't see it really going below 10. Maybe it flirts with $8 because that was the top of the range. Well, I'm just going to buy more. Trust me, if Chainlink goes to $8, I'm buying more. I'm buying another 0.3. All right, and I'm going to keep stacking. So that's great entry is under 10. Good entry is now. That's a perfect way to put it. Thank you, C90. That's all we got. It's best if you hit the like button. That's all we got.
Time to decipher crypto.
See you. Hey, I'll see some of you 4 p.m.